Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, and welcome to this EUROPARC webinar about hosting large events in peri-urban parks. Today, this webinar is being organized by the Periurban Commission, which is one of our most long-standing commission in the Federation. And we have a very interesting topic, and we will host Quentin Drouet, who is a researcher, geographer, who prepared a benchmark study on hosting a large event in several European areas. But before kickstarting, I would like to let you know that this webinar is being recorded. So please, if you are not comfortable being seen, you can switch off your camera. So EUROPARC Federation is the largest network of protected areas in Europe. We represent approximately 400 members in around 40 countries. And our vision is sustainable nature valued by people. Our members have very different legal entities. So the majority, of course, are protected areas and natural areas, but our members can also represent non-governmental organization, national governmental organization, or we have also individual members, etc. And you can see the variety of our members in this slide. Next, please. So as I mentioned before, this webinar has been organized by FedeNatur Periurban Commission, which is one of the long-standing commission in the Federation and represent peri-urban parks that redefine the heart, lungs, and soul of a city. And they bring together issues, of course, connected to biological diversity, but they are really focusing on leisure activities because they are the closest to people. They are the most reachable to people in comparison to other protected areas. And one of the topics that the Periurban Commission is dealing with is carrying capacity, which is the main topic we are speaking about today. In this presentation that will be shared later, you will have also the link to get more information about the work of Periurban Commission as you see more. Next, please. So as I mentioned, this webinar is about hosting large events in peri-urban parks, and of course, the macro topic about this is carrying capacity. Here you will find a definition of carrying capacity, one of the definition, let's say, which is maximum visitor level that an area can hold with no impact or the least environmental impact and the best nature experience quality for visitors. This is the definition that you could find in the Periurban Commission Toolkit, which is a toolkit that has been drafted by the Periurban Park to support parks, not only peri-urban one, to better plan and manage the natural spaces. And it showcases the experience through case studies of peri-urban parks. And it's divided in different topics: designing parks, enhance biodiversity, hosting people, communication, and governance. Next, please. About carrying capacity, we can speak about physical carrying capacity, which is, let's say, the easiest one to think of, right? How many visitors a peri-urban area can hold. But you speak about ecological carrying capacity. How can the area cope? How many visitor area can cope without being damaged? And also the psychological and social carrying capacity. So I just invite you, if you are interested in this topic, because actually it's a core topic for peri-urban parks, to look at the toolkit and also to look at the webinar that was recorded last year about this specific one. Next, please. Then today, As I mentioned, we would answer to two main questions. How do European parks manage the balance of hosting leisure sports and recreational events, and also the need of ecological sustainability? And the big question is also how to reach a strategic compromise to allow people enjoying these areas, but also to allow nature to thrive. And with this, I give the word to to this, I introduce you our guest speaker, Dr. Quentin Drouet. He's a geographer, and he's going to speak about several case studies emanating from a benchmark study that he did in several peri-urban parks in Europe. And you can see here Bois de Vincennes, sorry for my French, from Paris, Englischergarten, Munich, Bois de Cambre, Brussels, and Grand Parc Miribel-Jonage, who left us a video, and they are also our member. I leave you the word to you, Quentin, and thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Anna. I'm very grateful to the members of the Periurban Parks Commission of EUROPARC Federation for inviting me today to present case studies on hosting large events in periurban parks. I hope you can see now my full screen. So yeah, briefly, I just wanted to explain the context of the benchmark study. During the preparation of the 10-year management plan for the Tivoli Rožnik in Šišenský hřib Periurban Park in Ljubljana in Slovenia, this benchmark study was conducted with the aim to provide good practices related to the carrying capacity of large events and mitigation of environmental impacts, potentially suitable for implementation in Ljubljana. So I conducted this work in collaboration with the park manager, Vokas Nagar, which is a public company, and Zavita, which is a consulting company specialized in strategic environmental assessment. The benchmark study is based on semi-structured interviews with park managers, event organizers, and researchers. Also on a review of regulations on periurban parks, examination of environmental impact reports connected to large events, and also on some academic publications. So due to the time frame of this webinar, it was not possible to present you all the cases that has been analyzed through this benchmark study. But we have selected a few of them in order to illustrate different approaches and a different strategy for hosting events. So the first one would be Bois de Vincennes, as already introduced by Anna. So located in the southeast of Paris. So it's park. This park represents 995 hectares. There are few estimates about the species. So it's about 634 species of wild plants, 122 species of birds, and it hosts 10 million visitors each year. It's a public-owned park, and it has, of course, really important social, recreational, and ecological functions. So for this case, I will actually focus on the festival Wheel of Green. You will understand why. It's a really interesting case. Large event that gather 40,000 participants. There are during this festival there are concerts, talk sessions, culinary workshop, and art exhibitions. And this the festival organizer developed a sustainable policy. I will tell more about this shortly. They also carry out carbon footprint analysis every year. And in 2023, they have launched an impact assessment on biodiversity related to the festival. So in collaboration with the City of Paris, with a consortium of consulting companies, and with researchers, with one researcher lab in Paris. So first, I wanted to share with you the sustainable policy that they have. They try to have to develop a systemic approach. So of course, one of the big issues is mobility, due to which type of transport mode will use the participants of the festival for joining the festival site. So they have this policy of no parking for cars, free parking for bikes. They try to use cargo bike for the logistic, and to optimize the mobility needs for artists and service providers. Regarding the energy, they have a few initiatives. So first of all, they make sure to get renewable energy in the contract that they have with the energy suppliers. They experiment on site during the festival different renewable energy, such as solar panels, and they also have set a limit for the artist in terms of power limits. So it means that the artist they have to adjust the light show or the sound system according to those limits. They also promote a principle of circularity through, for instance, the dry toilets and urine reused as a fertilizer. And also they implement deposit systems for eco cups and eco plates. They are very strict regarding the food that is provided there. 100% is vegetarian foods. And they also make sure about the origin of the drinks. They estimated that 95%, sorry, come from France. So one of the first key measure is about the location in the park. So this festival happened always at the same place on football pitches. You can see on the pictures that it's quite affected already, the grass. So the idea is because this place is already in a regular use and exposed to soil compaction, soil trampling, to locate this festival at this same place and to devote this place for it, and not to damage other areas of the park. And then here are some example of key measures. So no motor vehicles are allowed on the lawns, only electric carts. They also put barriers on the edge of the festival site to protect the wooded areas. Fireworks and pyrotechnics are prohibited. They set some limits for the sound level, and it's written in the contract of the artist. There are also guidance regarding the light orientation, so to avoid upward light to the sky. And after midnight, light and sound system should be switched off to not disturb the wildlife during all the night, which means that there is no night logistical operation to unset the stage, for instance, and all the temporary infrastructures. So it has to be done on the next day afterwards. They also have this interesting guidance to have a very late mowing of the grass to create a kind of natural protection for the soil compaction. So by leaving the grass really high, then it will cover the soil and prevent soil compaction when people are stepping on it. They also avoid to reseed the grass, even though we will see later on that it can be quite affected. To not over solicitate the natural seed bank of the ground because by reseeding too much, then the ground don't have the same capacity to regenerate. And the festival is also financing renaturation projects. And also they organize a Green Brigade, 222 volunteers in charge of spreading the word about the waste management, eco gestures. So there is a really widespread wet sorting all over the festival site and some cleanup operation, not only on the festival site, but also all along the way until the closest metro station from where are coming most of the festival participants. So now I will share with you briefly the result of the ongoing research about the impact of the festival on the biodiversity. So I will be really short on the method they implemented, but so they do some monitoring of bird activities before, during, after the festival using nest boxes to observe. There are nighttime recording of bats, floral inventory, soil quality survey with control zones free from human disturbance to be able to have a comparative analysis. And here are the primary results. So of course the festival happens overlaps the main bat activity peak because it happens in the first half of the night, and this is when the bat are mostly active. But despite this, they didn't observe any increase in the mortality of bats of the observed birds. The reproduction is not so much affected. So this festival happened in June. So it's after the reproduction period of the birds that they observed. So they didn't notice any strong impact on this, but they can see that there is a temporary displacement of the species. And regarding the grass, you have a sample here on the picture at the entrance of the festival. So really the spot where the most of the people are stepping. You can see after the festival, fully green. After the festival, it's drastically different. And 40 days later, it's still not really recovered, but it's hard to estimate how many days because it will depend on the weather, if it will be raining, and as you know, sometimes during summer it can really depend. And finally, also interesting aspect when they were comparing different zones, they noticed that the festival sometimes would have less impact than some other activities in Bois de Vincennes. Because the festival will happen during few days, but there are some other activities that happen more in regular basis, such the hippodrome, where there is some horse races during the evening with the light on, and they could see that it was more impact for some of the species. Now we will move to another case. So Englischer Garten in Munich, Germany. So it's different case because but you can see that this park is located in the inner city area. It's also smaller, 370 hectares. More than 5 million visitors per year. It can reach 100,000 during some summer days. And this park has a really high protection status. It's publicly owned, and again, it has really important social, recreational, and ecological functions. So there is not really massive event, large event in this park due to the high protection status, but it can still be small sized one, such as the Japan Fest or some race, such a charity run, Lions Monopteros run. And now we see what are the key measures implemented. So massive events are prohibited, no events hosted on meadows, really strict access rules for the vehicles, for the logistics. So it cannot use the grass, it has to stay on the path, on the roads. There is no commercial use. I mean, they are limited to the dedicated area, such as beer gardens. And organizer must provide toilets and enough toilets according to the predicted attendance of the events to prevent that people will go to the bushes or next to the trees. And no food or drinks might be sold to all the participants, just for the athletes and the artists, to limit the potential waste impact. So even though there are really strict rules in practice, the park is facing still some challenges. They have noticed that the way the grass will recover and the plant species will really depend of the rain. And one of the challenges is that it's hard to, I mean, the forecast of the weather cannot be predicted so long time in advance that then we will schedule the events according to this. So this is one of the challenge. There are a lot of behavioral pressure, soil trampling, bathing on the lakes, misuse of the meadows, vandalism and damage to natural areas. And each year they collect 120 tons of waste. Now I will move to another case, Bois de la Cambre in Brussels, Belgium. So it's again another kind of approach. You will see more like management, monitoring of event organizers. So this park is located in southeast, connected to Sonian Forest, last one. So it's the park area is smaller, but then because the number of hectares here is just the park, not it's not including the forest, so it's 122 hectares. It's a Natura 2000 site. There are some estimates about the species: 61 animal species, 51 plant species. It's the most visited park in Brussels. It's also publicly owned with different owners, such as the City of Brussels, some regional institutions. And it has, again, very important social recreational function and important ecosystem services and remarkable heritage trees. Here you can see some example of events. So again, some race, some cultural events such as Festival Aphrodisiac and very important concert like Fiesta Latina. So they have interesting protocol for event requests. You have to know that any events organized in public space in the whole city of Brussels, including the park, must be free. And it means that anyone should be able to access to it, so no fences. So it's more a social principle. And then any event request submitted by the organizer is centralized and reviewed by all the different relevant city departments for biodiversity, for safety, for health, for mobility, and so on. And the organizer must provide a professional scaled site plan and estimate the attendance. But of course, there is threshold limits up to 2 to 3,000 participants. Then afterward is organized one meeting with the event organizer and all the city department, I mean all the relevant one regarding to the event, to present the guidance and raise awareness on environmental impact and safety measures. So it's not just writing measures that will be sent or written in a contract, but they really developed this human-centered approach with the event organizer and to accompany, to monitor the event organizer for have a very responsible environmental responsible event. So there is a check-in. They check the area before, during. It might also be some checkup, and then after the event, with potential sanctions in case of tree injuries, for instance. It can be some fines. And of course, if the experience was so bad, it won't be possible for the organizer to renew, to reschedule the event on the next year. So a bit similar to what Vincent, they also have this approach to direct all the events on a dedicated area, which is an asphalted area located on the edge of the park, also to avoid the visitor flow inside the park, even though it's hard to depends on the origins of the participant, of course. In this case, there is you can see parking on the picture. And here are the key measures they are implementing. So no more than one major event per month. Cultural events are already said on this asphalted area. Races take place on the path. And then there are some signs, sometimes even some barrier next to very remarkable heritage trees to direct the flow of visitors with some buffer zones and really to direct them directly to the zone through the passes, to the concert site through the passes. Again, vehicles are restricted to roads. They also have this single-use eco cap, and smoking is fully banned. It's not the case for Paris, for instance. They put ashtrays. They make sure to have enough ashtray everywhere, but in this case, it's like just banned. The cleaning is the organizer is in charge of the cleaning. And if there is any damage, he is responsible to restore the area. And there is no defined duration for the logistical period before and after. They don't want to pressure so much the organizer to quickly free the area from the stage and all the infrastructures, because they notice that in the rush it increase the risk of trees injuries if just right after the concert during the night all the artists all the technicians try to remove everything. So they have this policy that it's better that they take more times, maybe a few days after, to peacefully dismantle everything and not to damage the remarkable trees that are around. But they still face some challenges, like other park managers. Even though they set a limit, they can notice that there are occasional overflow. The fines for the harming trees are far to compensate the impact on those trees. It's hard to replace them, all trees. Also, one issue is even though there is those checking before after the event, there will still be invisible damage that they cannot identify, especially when a lot of people are stepping and on the ground next to some root systems. And it will compact the soils and it will have consequences for the trees much later on than just few days after the the event, and they have noticed in average for the city of Brussels that tree lifespan significantly reduced from, I mean, this is really roughly estimated here, 50 to 30 years. Of course, is it connected only to the event or to other environmental pressure, social pressure? It's hard to say, but actually they could notice this in average. They also realize that there is a lack of awareness about the consequences that can have all those soil trampling next to the trees from the citizens. So a need to really raise awareness. And I wanted to also share this because we saw that on this case there is a dedicated area, but it's not the case for other parts of the city of Brussels. And in that case, they are considering to implement some rotational area. So if it happens on the grass, after the event, they will put some fences. It will become a resting zone. At least for 3 years, because they estimated that 1 or 2 years is not enough to enable the biotope to recover. And we come now to our last case, Grand Parc Miribel-Jonage. So I will be really short here because the park managers shared the video with us. Another approach about governance cooperation model with the organizer, you will see. And here you just have the location, so northeast of Lyon. It's a much bigger park, 2,200 hectares. It's also a Natura 2000 site, publicly owned. And you will see it's really interesting because it has much more diversified function than other parks, because there is also farming, for instance. It's also a drinking water a resource area for the metropolitan area of Lyon. And also it's a place to prevent flood for Lyon. Well, I will stop here and let the park manager tell us about this in the video. Thank you for your attention until now.
Alors, le Grand Parc Miribel-Jonage, c'est un site extrêmement particulier, puisqu'on est juste à côté de la grande agglomération de Lyon, dont on fait partie. C'est un lieu aussi qui est artificiel, qui a été fabriqué par l'homme. Donc le premier enjeu qu'il y a là-dessus, c'est la préservation de la qualité de la ressource en eau pour une agglomération d'1,5 million d'habitants. Et puis le deuxième aspect qui est très important, c'est la question des crues du Rhône, qui sert à protéger le monde urbain de la violence des crues. Troisième aspect, tout simplement, c'est que le parc, depuis en gros les années 60, c'est un lieu de loisirs de l'agglomération lyonnaise. On est sur une fréquentation de plus de 3 millions de personnes par an. On a en gros 80% de la fréquentation qui est estivale. Elle se fait sur 15% du territoire, 15-20% du territoire du parc. Tout le reste est composé d'espaces naturels qui sont un peu plus préservés, et puis également de zones agricoles, forestières, etc.
Le Grand Parc Miribel-Jonage, il est administré par le CIMALIM, qui est le syndicat propriétaire du Grand Parc. Il réunit différentes collectivités, des communes, la métropole de Lyon, le département de l'Ain. Au total, ce sont 16 acteurs qui se regroupent et qui prennent ensemble les décisions pour la gestion du Grand Parc. Nous avons également une société qui s'appelle la Segapal, qui est une société publique qui gère et qui met en œuvre les politiques décidées par le CIMALIM pour la gestion quotidienne du Grand Parc.
Les pratiques de loisirs ont évolué. Maintenant, les gens vont beaucoup plus à l'intérieur du territoire. Les gens qui font des manifestations sportives chez nous, ce qu'ils cherchent aussi, c'est la possibilité de faire des parcours. Mais ça renvoie à des problématiques de voirie, d'accès poids lourd, d'accès des réseaux électriques, d'accès à l'eau potable. L'enjeu, c'est l'alimentation en eau potable de l'agglomération lyonnaise, puisqu'en gros, 95% de l'alimentation en eau potable, elle vient de ce site. Et donc le Grand Parc protège ce site d'extraction. Nous, on a toute la question des déchets, donc d'en avoir le moins possible, qu'ils soient triés correctement, qu'ils soient évacués correctement. Voilà. Il y a un sujet qui demeure préoccupant, nous, pour les événements, c'est la question de la canicule et de la gestion de la canicule. Pour lutter contre ça, on utilise à peu près tous les leviers qu'on a. C'est un risque qui maintenant existe, le risque incendie. On peut avoir des zones touchées beaucoup plus étendues que par le passé. Voilà. Donc c'est un risque qui monte. À partir de 2012, en fait, vraiment, il y a eu une stratégie de développement pour l'accueil des événements. C'est que voilà, il y a des types d'événements où, parce qu'on pense qu'ils vont avoir des impacts forts ou, en tout cas, donner une image négative des espaces naturels, ça peut être un peu des deux, on les refuse. On a travaillé d'ailleurs ça aussi avec des associations naturalistes. On ne prend plus d'événements qui exigeraient que les gens pénètrent vraiment dans les milieux naturels. On a eu toute une politique sur la collecte des déchets sur le parc. On a supprimé les containers et ça a été remplacé par ce qu'on appelle les points d'apport volontaires qui permettent le tri. Ce qui a été mis en place, c'est aussi tout un système de médiation avec le public chez nous qui a expliqué aux gens qu'il faut qu'ils trient ici comme ils trient chez eux. On travaille beaucoup sur la question de l'accessibilité, de venir aux événements avec autre chose que la voiture. Donc voilà, il va falloir avoir un jeu avec les politiques publiques quand je dis un jeu, une construction avec les politiques publiques de transport, de manière à avoir des meilleures dessertes du territoire. Mais là, notre objectif, c'est qu'on ait 30 à 40% des gens d'un événement qui viennent en transport en commun. Dernier point important qu'on travaille, c'est la question de la restauration, de l'alimentation. Le but, c'est de proposer de plus en plus de bio et de plus en plus de local. D'avoir de moins en moins d'emballage et d'avoir des produits qui, d'un point de vue de la diététique, sont quand même à peu près corrects. Il vaut mieux, en fait, quand vous accueillez un événement comme ça, il vaut mieux, déjà, le truc, c'est de rentrer dans l'événement, de comprendre ce qui se fait, comment ça se fait. On ne se contente pas de louer un espace, c'est qu'on va aller travailler avec les organisateurs longuement sur comment on l'accueille, et puis on en profite pour regarder tous les points éco-responsables. En fait, il ne faut pas partir un cahier des charges trop lourd et infaisable, inatteignable, parce que vous allez retrouver avec des porteurs de projets qui vont vous dire oui, oui, bien sûr, je fais, mais en fait, ils ne peuvent pas le faire. Donc il faut rentrer dans le détail de certains points avec eux et voir comment systématiquement on peut essayer d'améliorer les choses sur tel et tel point. Alors, on accueille des événements de toute nature sur le Grand Parc. Il y a deux catégories principales, qui sont des événements sportifs, d'autres des événements culturels, avec un point commun, c'est que c'est des événements outdoor. Il y avait déjà un festival sur le parc, mais on s'est mis, maintenant on en a 3. Et on a mis en place un guide d'évaluation des aspects éco-responsables qui a pour but de dire à tel et tel événement, voilà où sont vos marges de progrès, voilà où vous pouvez vous améliorer. Car de là, l'organisateur, il est dans une logique de progrès, ça le met en mouvement en fait. On s'aperçoit que des choses qui étaient exceptionnelles il y a 10 ans sont devenues courantes maintenant. Si on parle par exemple de la mise en place des éco-cups, tout le monde le fait. Les organisateurs mettent en place des parkings à vélo extrêmement importants, de plus en plus. Il y a des événements qui sont en ce moment qui sont 100% VG, par exemple, ce qui était impensable il y a quelques années. Il y a aussi des événements qui arrivent à avoir 20 ou 30% de produits locaux. Sur les visiteurs, nous, ce qu'on peut constater, c'est que quand même les gens sont quand même plus attentifs. La quantité de déchets n'a pas globalement vraiment diminué. Par contre, les déchets sont de mieux en mieux triés. Les choses qui bougent sur la question des déchets, c'est sûr. Sur la question de la biodiversité aussi, moi je crois que c'est en train de changer. On a de plus en plus de gens qui nous interrogent sur la biodiversité du parc. On voit que les événements qu'on organise, dont la question de la protection de l'environnement est au cœur, enfin on a des petits événements comme ça, ils sont pleins. Aujourd'hui, les qualités écologiques du territoire ne sont pas du tout remises en cause ni mises en danger par les événements, mais d'année en année, effectivement, on progresse. Et globalement, les choses se passent plutôt bien.
So now I will conclude this part about the benchmark study with some key recommendations. So there are different. We saw it was very diverse approaches implemented by the park managers, but there are many different aspects that are considered when hosting events, large events. So the event location, most of them try to use mineral zones if there are, or using paths or roads for the race, for the logistical transport. There is a lot of effort in awareness raising among the organizer, but not only, also to among the artists, among the public, the citizens that participate, and all the outsourced service providers. A lot of efforts to regulate the visitor flow with some signs. And there is also this idea of schedule some resting time for the area and the surroundings that might be overflowed when, even though sometimes it's located on mineral areas. So most of the case have set this kind of limit of one event per month. I mean, we are talking about really big events here. So we could see that for the to respect, to preserve the wildlife, it's better to avoid the logistical operation during the second half of the night of the concert. So there is also some consideration how to adjust the time. There is a big issue regarding trees with soil compactions that can affect the root systems. So there is these buffer zones, barriers that are implemented. In those cases, we haven't seen it, but some other areas are implementing tree value barometers. I mean, considering to implement it, then to set the fine according to the value of the trees. The city of Lyon is also working for insurance systems for the tree. One other important aspect is stakeholder engagement. So we could see that just writing some rules might be not enough to make them implemented, but it's also important to monitor, to train, to maybe create some training sessions or to accompany the organizer and to guide him, to provide some guidance how he can improve, to have a more responsible events. Maybe some rewarding systems like we saw in the case of for Lyon with some event eco-labeling. So if some very significant efforts are made. Also an issue regarding the sound and the light to adjust proper limits to respect the wildlife. And we saw that it can be many little measures like regarding smoking, sanitation, that it's properly adjusted to the amount of participants, or also about the oil from the food trucks, because often it happens that at the end of the events, the staff don't know what to do with the oil, and it ends on the ground. So all these little things needs to be anticipated, and in collaboration with the organizers. Thank you for your attention. I will give back the floor maybe to Anna.
Thank you very much, Quentin. This was a really in-depth and very, very insightful, very clear presentation. Thank you. Each of every case study had something unique, and I think it was really an incredible overview. I would like to leave the floor to questions. You can write your question in the chat. Before going to the concluding remarks, please write down your question if any there. Meanwhile, while people might prepare the question, I just wanted to say that the recordings of these events are going to be uploaded in our website. Every person who is here and registered will receive also a notification by email when the recordings will be uploaded. uploaded, including on our EUROPARC webpage. And if any of you has any contribution that want to write it in the chat, we can also include it in the page. So Isabel is asking, are there any camping in this park? You are sorry, Isabel, are you speaking about specific park in general? I guess in general. Do you know of any, Quentin?
Yeah, I don't have everything in mind, but for in Paris, there I know there is one for Bois de Boulogne, so it's another park on the west southwest. So yes, it might happen that there is camping. I don't know if there is any question related to this. Otherwise. But yeah, there can be really different activities, such golf area, tennis courts. We saw on the case of Lyon that there is partly of the lake is used also for some water sport activities. So there are really different situation according to the parks. Some park can be also more can implement a lot of restriction toward the pets, for instance, the dogs. I know that for Paris, for the dog trainer, they need to get some special allowance. And some other parts are more flexible regarding this. So yeah, maybe we can move to another.
Yes, thank you,
question.
Quentin. Thank you. Sorry, I was going through the question, and there is Yalaluddin who is asking about guidelines of peri-urban parks. I am just sharing the toolkit of the Peri-urban Commission of EUROPARC, which also includes relevant publications that are related to this. So there is also some bibliography. And Katrien from Germany is asking, is there some experience with monitoring of long-term impacts effects on nature of the events? If yes, are results already published somewhere?
Yeah, during the study, I didn't identify such a study, such a research. I mean, except I presented you the impact assessments in the Bois de Vincennes related to We Love Green Festival. But of course, this is it's just preliminary result. It's still an ongoing process. And I don't think they plan to. It shouldn't last more in the next years. Maybe it will be other initiatives, but the way it is, the financial frame doesn't plan that it will be include so many years afterwards. So, but maybe it might exist, but I didn't find it during this benchmark study.
Thank you. I am going to a question from Marika. And actually, there is one other one from Kaya. Maybe there is a typo, so I'm not understanding the question, just in case you can correct. But Marika asks about the dry toilet in Paris. And if you know anything a little bit more about it, or maybe where she can find the information, I guess.
Well, no, I don't have. So myself, I didn't try this festival. Unfortunately, I wish I will do one day. So I don't know exactly how it works. I just got the information during the interviews. But yeah, as I mentioned before, it's really an issue to define enough toilets to avoid that, because if there is not enough, then of course people in such a hurry they will go around to the bushes and everything. So, and this is one of the tricky aspect. Yeah, but for this festival, yeah, the urine is reused as a fertilizers, but I don't know where it goes exactly. I mean, they have a website, We Love Green, with a lot of information also in public. So I guess it's also possible to contact them directly if you want to know more about this. I mean, now it will be soon, or it just happened, the festival, so maybe they're a bit busy, but later on.
We can see if there is any information, we will upload it. And okay, so my colleague Jessica is asking, how much more packed is the park for an event of the one that you described in comparison to a sunny summer holiday day? Is it comparable, or is the density just much more when an event takes place?
Yeah, hard to say. I will say that in the case of concert, I mean, we could see on the pictures, the density is quite high. It can be definitely more than one person for 5 meters. This is, for instance, during this benchmark study, it was a big question for the park in Ljubljana. To set the limits, what is the carrying capacity of the area. So I think for some, they divided different areas and each areas at its own limits. And according of the average of the experience we saw on the benchmark study, it seems that the limit is around one people for 5 meters square. But yeah, then to compare with summer days, hard to say. One special analysis need to be done then to see concretely.
Thank you, Quentin. Okay, we have more questions. So because we don't have more time, I suggest that we will download them, and what we can answer, we will answer in writing and upload it in the website so people can access the answers that we are able to get. Because, people are started leaving. So if you can go to the next slide, I just give a few closing remarks and close the day. So what I wanted to highlight is that designing at the park is very important in the organization of large events. So, for example, you have to take off maintaining different functions. The areas, for example, use suitable tracks and buffer area to mitigate the negative impacts, or have a buffer zone for 2-3 canopies by using like physical barriers. Or you have to plan for mobility and accessibility, you have to plan for security, etc. You will find some of these recommendations partially in the presentation that we will share from Quentin, but also other recommendations related to carrying capacity you will find in the Periurban Commission toolkit. And next, please. The other areas that you have to look at is, of course, protecting and enhancing biodiversity. So monitoring biodiversity is very important. Quentin spoke about environmental assessment, but also post-assessment that cannot take into account, cannot read everything, but can do quite a lot. And a good planning for recreation and leisure. So also having in place mechanisms whereby you can communicate properly with organizers of large-scale events can be much more interesting than just giving rules. The human factor has been stressed out many times today. Next slide. And yes, you can also find more recommendation of planning for recreational leisure and for receiving people in the toolkit of the peri-urban parks, and also you will find more information in the outcomes of the webinar that we will publish on the website. Thank you, and I am on behalf of the Periurban Park Commission, Quentin, I thank you all for being here and have a good day. Simply